Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bridge Talk Show where stories meet. My name is Nankunda Faith with my co-host
Derek, of course, and today we have a very special guest with us. He can introduce himself so that you would get to know him.
Yeah, I go by the name Caspian Marvin, the son boy.
Yeah, Caspian Marvin, the Istanbul, as they said. Anyone out there would love to know who Caspian Marvin is.
Caspian Marvin is a Ugandan artist. In brief, I'm a Ugandan artist. I'm a tall guy, dark skinned, I'm too charming, I'm too funny, and I'm talented. Yeah, that's all about me.
So Marvin,
Yeah.
as a youth that is in the music industry, as should I say someone that is aiming maybe to be big in the music industry,
Yeah.
how have you found the music industry so far? Is it tough? Is it an easy thing? How have you faced it so far?
I have a different perception about how I face or how I see the music industry. It's a bit challenging. It comes with disadvantages and advantages, Yeah, I've seen a lot of good things in it, like social capital, like that fame experience, money, though it's not that big, and I've seen a lot of challenges. So it's a bit balancing.
It's balancing. It's not a right away thing that maybe life will be good right away.
Just like any other business, me, I perceive it as a business.
A business.
Yeah, where we have a graph of apex and downfalls like this,
So it's a two-sided thing. There are advantages and disadvantages.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm very sure there are very many youth out there that would love to join the music industry, and the bridge is here to empower them. I would love to know, because you've talked about the music industry having both the advantages and the disadvantages.
Yeah.
Which side do you think overweighs the other? Is it the negative side of the industry or the positive side of the industry?
It depends on how you want. It depends on how you want. Like, maybe it starts with the goals. If you have a dream, a big dream, you rely more on the advantages more than the disadvantages. And like, to me, I don't look at the disadvantages the most. I've seen a lot, but I've gained a lot. So I rely more on advantages more than disadvantages.
That is
interesting. And any other youth there who wants to join the industry, it doesn't rely only on desires. It's passion. Yeah, passion and talent. But when you have desires for music, bro, I don't advise you to come into the industry because you'll get fed up.
You've said there are some disadvantages. You as a person, how best would you advise the youth to be able to cope up with the disadvantages, like the things that you guys pass through that are not probably enticing?
Like, one of the major disadvantage in the industry is breaking through. Like, one of the most challenging bit of it is breaking through. But when you break through, most of the things come by their way. So finance is the biggest disadvantage in the industry. Finance, yeah.
Music is expensive to finance.
It's too expensive
to find that maybe you make it there to break through so that people get to know you more and more.
It's too expensive. Now, let me tell you a bit. Just shooting a video, a music video, is something not less than 1M to a youth. And in most cases, music is always done by people who are young, who can't maybe raise more than 1M. And when you're working and doing music at the same time, it's too hard to cope up with both. So you have to decide on which one to do, like to take paramount and which one to leave aside. So it's a bit challenging. Yeah, money. We need money in the industry more than any other business, I think.
How does the finance thing work in the music industry? Are you supposed to have someone to invest in you? Are you supposed to come with your own money? I keep on hearing manager. What is the role of the manager?
In music industry, you may break through without having a manager, but it's too hard to break through without a team. So to me, I have a manager, but my manager is not my sponsor.
How does that work then? If
So-
your manager is not your sponsor,
Yeah, my manager like takes control of my social handles mostly because they like you reach a point where you have a big number of people. You can't engage them all at once, so you have someone, you have to need someone to help you in some other social handles like Twitter, TikTok. So that's a role of a manager. Then like this PR role, making engagements with the public. You don't have to make engagements with the public as you as an individual. There's a way to devalues you. So a manager comes in to help you, So I think manager does all that, and maybe getting shows for you, getting interviews for you. That's a role of a manager. Then he has to make sure that maybe you've eaten, you're in a good condition, a sounding condition, you can be able to record. So I think it's not all about finances when it comes to management. There's a big difference between management and sponsorship.
The one that pays the managers.
It depends on the agreement you have with him. Yeah.
so I'm curious. For example, you've said you're not sponsored. I mean, you don't have any manager that maybe sponsors you. You have a manager that maybe handles your accounts and what and what.
Yeah.
So the youth that would love maybe to join the music industry would love to know, maybe from your experience, how you handle such. I mean, how has the journey been for you? Because literally, you've said about how many videos do you have so far?
I have something like 4 videos.
4 videos.
Yeah.
So each is not below 1 million.
Yeah.
How are you able to get this 1 million each video? Because I suppose maybe the first video you aren't that viral as you are now, and maybe you didn't have those gigs that you have right now. How did you manage maybe to get your first million to make the first video, and maybe the audios also?
As I told you, I have a team I work with, and I have people who believe in me. So sometimes you find yourself investing less. It's like politics. When you come out and you be like, I want to stand in for Gili Presidents. Of course, you get a team, and maybe you'll invest a little of your individual money. Most of the money maybe you want to use during your campaigns, it will come from these team members. So I think it does like that, I don't have personally an individual who sponsors my music, but I have a team I work with in that we can solicit money and we work on a project comprehensively. So I think it's teamwork, bro. I don't know how I got that 1M.
You can't recall.
Yeah, I can't
but
recall.
It came anyway.
And it's not only about shooting a video. There's a hardest part called promotion.
Promoting the music.
It needs more money than shooting just a video. So I think it has been teamwork all out. Yeah. That's how I managed to shoot a video of that 1M. Maybe it was more than 1M. Yeah.
To look into the music industry, there is an issue of drugs. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I've seen guys in the music industry using drugs, honestly, and it's so fortunate that I'm not among them.
Not among them, but
That's good.
Yeah,
and today in that team you're talking about.
No, my team is too good. My team, no one uses drugs in my team. I thank God for that. We don't use drugs. Maybe they have their own reasons why they use drugs, but to me,
You know some of the reasons, because
depression. Yeah, depression.
What brings about that depression?
Depression is brought by when you expect more and you get disappointed, so you get depressed. I think, yeah, because we're always expecting more, like every day. So when you don't reach that goal, you become depressed somehow. So I think they start using drugs just to get the depression.
How about this issue that they say some of the artists use drugs to gain confidence, probably on stage? And how does that work?
By the way, I've heard a lot of artists bringing that as a reason why they use drugs, but I don't think it's it's a way. I don't know how it works, but because me personally, I don't use drugs, and I'm always confident when it comes to performances, recording music. So I don't buy that. They just have their own reasons why they use it, and maybe it's a myth. People think it's a hearsay. Like let me say it's a bandwagon thing. You had someone
You
saying
don't
you
use
need
anything, or
this.
you won't perform to my
Yeah.
fullest potential.
It's, when you hear something from a big artist, you believe it's what you're supposed to do. But me, I don't think it's the right way to do all the shit in the industry. Yeah.
So, leaving alone drugs, you talked about the depression being the major cause of people taking drugs. This brings us to our major concerns as the Bridge Talk Show, that is mental health. So, if you talk about the depression, how critical is it in the music industry? How critical is depression and anxiety? How critical are they in the music industry?
Depression, by the depression lowers your self-esteem first of all, and it's a big problem.
In the music industry.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with it. Honestly, I can't lie that maybe you're supposed to be doing this to kill depression. I don't know how to deal with it. Maybe I've never been depressed. So fortunate, but I don't want to be depressed. So I don't know how. It's too bad. Like many youths are
And it is so much.
being that situation.
It is a lot in the music industry.
I think it's a lot wrong because a lot of music artists use drugs just to kill depression. So I don't know how to deal with it, but it's too common in youths.
In relation to the mental health thing, there is a perspective that musicians are, how did I say it? Like rascals, they are, but actually you can bring it in that perspective that in case they are doing, you see. So how do you guys handle that? I feel like that can also impact your mental health and so on. How do you guys do that? How does it affect you?
Yeah, we've been having that dark perception of the public. Like the public has been perceiving us in that dark way back. But I thank God the industry is being cleared by some other artists. Let me bring an example of Bobby Wine. He has changed the way people perceive artists, I think. Artists have been perceived all along as vayayes, people who are not like appropriate to deal with when it comes to business. But for now, they are trusted people. Artists are educated. They are sounding, you know.
So you believe now it is coming to the downer.
Yeah.
The people calling you goons and what.
And by the way, let me tell you something. It's all about someone's personality. I may be an artist, but my personality is a bit different from how you people perceive artists. Let me tell you an example of Baby Cool. Baby Cool has been in State House for a couple of times, but he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he has been so many business ventures, enterprises, and deals with so many big people who are not in the industry. And these artists have money. Let me tell you something. In that, like, other side of the world, maybe at some point need them when it comes to business. So I think the way you perceive artists, it's changing with this modern world. Yeah, and it's good.
So about the drugs themselves and artists being called Bayai, I think we are just getting another perspective of why artists use drugs. You talked about the depression part of it, whereby people have very high expectations. I look into that issue and see whereby someone has invested money in a song and it doesn't do well or as they expected, having those expectations of a song doing well, and it doesn't. I can see how they can get depressed.
Yeah.
But in most cases, especially before, we used to hear about the artists taking drugs to be creative, you know, like the drugs bring things like that. I think those are the things that brought about the perception of the artists being bayaye.
As I told you, I think that thing of you have to be high in order to do something in the music, I think it's a myth. Me personally, I don't believe in that that saying. So when it comes to depression being brought by being highly expectant and you gain less, I think it's the main reason. And it's a habit. It's not only a reason to kill depression. It's becoming a habit in youths, not only artists, but youths using drugs. Some of the youths, they don't have any reasons why they use drugs. They just use drugs because they see their friends using drugs, and it's becoming a habit. I don't know how we are going to deal with it, but I think we need more serious investigations about that.
So you talked about also the how different artists are helping clear the name of the music artists being Bayai. Do you think there are any major steps that are being taken, especially with the federation that is coming up? Are they collecting these artists and telling them how to portray their picture so that they can at least remove that negative connotation about them?
Yeah, and by the way, our involvement in the government activities has helped us to clear our names. How? Let me give you an example of Kenzo. Kenzo is now a trusted artist when it comes to a relationship between artists and the government. So there's a way this government perceives us. It's not like they used to perceive us way back. So I think this relationship of the government and the artists, there's a way it has helped us to be cleared, like to be seen as maybe intellectual people somehow.
I feel like in relation to him, it's just the way bw'olaba omuntu omukulu ng'akola ekiganda naawe kikola. So I feel like if someone older or bigger than you is doing something good, it's like giving you footsteps to follow. So probably it's like a motivation to these other upcoming artists to be like, mnange, like these people have given themselves HTWA to be able to be there. So probably if I also put myself in that position, I can probably also get to where they are. So I feel like that interaction between the artists and the government acts like a motivation to these upcoming artists.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Faith, he's talked about Kenzo. And his interaction with the government, and actually is it the president UNMF, Uganda National Musicians Federation. I would love to know mwenga bavubuka UNMF ebayamba oba bali kubyawe balya ssente, because waliwo ebibuuzo bingi.
Okay, nesijja kulimba. I won't lie to you that maybe it helps me somewhere, but maybe it doesn't. It has not yet helped me, but I think.
But you have hope.
Maybe it will help me when I need it. But sinawa jifunamu. Nena ndiagaddo jifuna.
Are you a member?
I'm not a member. I'm not a member.
Why aren't you a member? And actually, we've seen some musicians subscribing and after they withdraw. Why do you think they withdraw from the Uganda National Musicians Federation?
I don't know their reasons, and I've never been there, so I don't know their disadvantages and advantages. I can't go somewhere just because people are going there. I go there for a reason. So I haven't gotten a reason why I should join these federation things. And when I find it, maybe I'll join there and I'll tell you what's there.
Well, Caspian, I'm not so much in fashion, but there is a time when people, the population, the fans, and everyone was complaining about the dress code. Do you think how one dresses partially contributes to how people perceive you? What do you have to say about the dress code?
Yeah, of course. Let me give you an example of of Shiba. I think there was a saga of Shiba at school, and her dress code was not called for. But that
you also know that it was not called.
Yeah,
for.
it wasn't, bro, because it was a school.
No.
It was a school, and they were young kids. You don't need to put on as someone who is in a bar. So I think you won't see me putting on ragged jeans when I'm entering someone's office. Probably I'll change my way of dressing in order to be perceived well, So I think it's about places. Chiringa gwe ng'omuntu atali muyimbi. Ku Sunday tosobola kwambala bwoti. Tosobola kuba tie on a weekend. So this thing is not all about nti bayimbi bambala we bati. We don't have a standard code of dressing for artists. No. Our dressing code should be
I feel like before he actually adds on, It's even us nga kale tutijje ne ku bayimbi surely Derek, how do you expect me to wake up on a Sunday and I'm wearing my jeans with some damage and I'm in church? I feel like nengeri gy'oyambalamu, of course ogenda yingira church abantu bagambe ono simu yaye, like who are you? What are you doing in church just like that? Victor, you want to tell me if someone met Victor, they would think he's probably ghetto youth, maybe meandering. Of course, you're going to see a very well-dressed gentleman in a suit, having his tie on, looking very smart. So, dress code gives people a perception of who you are sometimes, besides the music industry.
And dress code gives you a class. Let me tell you something.
True.
I'm an artist. You don't expect me to be putting on a tie.
Yeah.
Bwetunabeerawo ffenna ne Derek ng'ayambadde tie nange nyambadde tie nga ffenna kale tusaze obuviiri nga bwe bumu. Same haircut.
agambala amatayi.
Depends where.
Where? Okitegeera.
Ne music video.
Tajja kwambala matayi afaane nga ggwe. Our ties are different from office ties. Yabo mulabo agasigala nga muyimbi agakuba tie with the Balenciaga. Can you put on a tie with a Timberland down?
Of course.
You can't, of course. So I think ekyakya dressing code nze ndi muyimbi. We dress according to our different vicinities. You don't expect a policeman to be dressing like a teacher. How will you identify him that he's a policeman, this one's a teacher?
Marvin, I feel like the argument is, yes, you might dress as a musician, but how? I can relate to you to some other musicians. I feel like the way, I do not want to mention artists' names, but I feel like the way Rema would dress is not the same way probably Shiba would dress, or Cindy or Spicy, the way Rema would dress, the way Mami Gloria would dress. So the argument is, yes, dress as a musician, but how? What is the perspective? Ntino ogenda kujja yambadde bw'oti manyi nti Caspian muyimbi naye gambi si musajja mbi tayambala bubi. Oli ajje ng'akubyemu probably
baziyita welo.
Kati Rema bw'ajja ku mbaga ng'ayambadde Kapatra. Since it's not her brand, you're going to be disappointed.
Yes.
Naye ate Rema bw'ajja mu bbaala ng'akubye Gomez eyo eri mu mikolo, we are going to be disappointed.
Well, at least even the bus tries to be decent. Tetugezaako
That's
okumenyera.
her brand.
Kine bw'oba ogeze kati an artist alina kwambala we because it is their brand.
The way you brand yourself is the way people perceive you. Katula ulinwaji ebyadala wajja mu bbaala ng'ataddeko ekintu nga kiwanvu.
When you talk about brand, I can understand because there is some artists that can dress like Elijah Chitaka. But when Elijah Chitaka dresses the way he dresses,
it's not a matter.
You know, everything is just
okay. It's okay.
So there is some other artist that went to. They were giving out some awards. It was some award show somewhere, and she was nearly topless. I don't know. Could that be her brand as well, or that is too far?
Like,
all right, it is a brand. Now you find that someone
is pushing it.
Is almost
can't we brand just agitandika nga nungi kati nga ogambye nti Rema brand ye nti wabaze ku mukolo nga yambadde decently, we shall not be surprised. Like, she has built her brand that way. So why don't we all, okay, we can't build ourselves in the same way because we are marketing probably ourselves. And I find that it's branding in the same way. Naye lwaki abamu temu ate etukisussa nnyo kale.
Kati let me give you an example. Kati since in that competitive world, you have to come up with something. I don't want to say something creepy. N'ekintu kiteekawo embeera okitegeera. Era singa nange nali nina obusobozi nandizze nga nina style yange ngoba ng'efaana biki kitegeera. So olina oteekawoko ku mbeera. Bro.
Eya kitaka etumala.
Katwala kitaka yajja n'ekintu kye nga kiringa ekyabaala naye nakitulemezaamu. Kati let me give you an example of Alien Skin. Alien Skin came up as a gang guy, you know. Mu kusooka kyalinga ekitagatta but netukimanyira that's him.
By the way, I feel like I'm now trying to start to support his argument because ate abasinga tubagayirayo mu ngeri gye balimu. That's the thing, because me, I love Shiba's style the way it is. That if Shiba engaged into romance style, I'd be like, that's not
it's
him.
not giving something like that.
True.
That's Shiba wajja kuka promo kamwenga ayambadde nga Rema. You're going to be disappointed. It's not what you expect from her. You know?
I understand.
Yeah, so it's about branding, target audience, and a place.
So Marvin, as we conclude, I want us to reflect on the behaviors of the musicians. Still, tuvude ku dressing, naye waliwo an alarming concern, the LGBTQ community, and it is profound that the musicians are one of the top victims. Lwaki muyingira mu bintu bino?
Okay, let me tell you this. This thing is it's spiritual, you know. It's
Spiritual.
That question is spiritual, and I'm going to give you a spiritual answer. Sitaani alina engeri gyakulooleza nti w'amaanyi. Kitegeera nti ndi musajja mukkiriza nnyo. Kati gwe
oli mulokole.
Omusajja mukkiriza Derek.
Naye si mulokole.
Omusajja mukkiriza kye kisinga obu.
Kitegeera. So kati mwe yabateekamu already kiri nti me I own this industry, I own this. Talina maanyi kyesobola okugamba. Tekalina maanyi.
Talina maanyi lwaki bw'aleeta idea LGBTQ. Almost all of you, ate naddala abavubuka, you subscribe. I'm not saying you subscribe, but of course, again, I'm not sure whether you're not a subscribee.
Katulaba.
So lwaki mwanguwa okusubscribing? Waba stand talina maanyi.
Tekalina maanyi. Just yatuteekamu nti olowooza twangu subscribing. Let me give you an example. Okimanyi nti ffe tubeera mu Africa tumanyi nti abazungu bonna bayonooneka. Nti all people are welcoming that LGBT thing. Ekitegeera. Naye ate bw'oba obaddeyo ku osomanya nti it's just a minority group of people shouting, loud minority group of people trying to prove a point.
Like
that we own this, bro.
They attack you more because you talked about the part of whereby you need the financial thing. So I feel like they think you guys are too desperate, and
who makes you feel like they own the finance industry?
Because we hear that people, the young musicians, subscribe to LGBTQ because they want to get the money.
Yes.
We have seen
They
very
say
many
that
victims.
You've never seen any musicians. You just think.
No.
You've never.
We have seen
You've
actually,
never seen.
we just think that, but we have seen people that have fallen victim to such circumstances.
You've
One
had.
of-
Whom have you seen?
You say you've had.
We've had.
Yeah.
One of the main
To be honest,
excuses they
we've
come
had.
with is the finance.
Yeah?
One of the main excuses they come with.
But you've never seen any artist.
Okay.
I've never
Me
seen, I've
personally,
had.
have not seen. We assume because now we are saying if the loud minority, as you've said, is there, they are making too much noise to try and prove a point. I feel like the reason as to why they would want to attack you most, the artists, especially the upcoming and the youth, is because they feel like you're desperate. You need that financial support. You need that and like we hear that there is so much money in LGBT and so on. So
Okay. Since I'm not a humanitarian activist,
We are.
my reasoning may not be valid. But
You can share it anyway. You can share it anyway.
kale nze sitera nnyo okubeera mu iyo society kati nze ndwawo bbiraba nze mbiwulira buwulizi. I've never been around someone who is in that society.
The LGBTQ.
I've never. Oba kiva nti mu bantu bentambuliramu nti nze mbeera in a targeted place, I don't move.
Baani b'otambula nabo tubawe ku bugalo.
Yeah, by the way, my circle is too good. You people, you should do it in my circle. If I've never seen anyone, a friend of mine who has a friend in that society, I've never. So it's a hearsay. I think it's a hearsay. Now, people change. People grow up, and I think they will outgrow. They will outgrow things.
So this is the main question.
I can't be doing something. I can't be a victim of a revelation.
Yeah.
Me myself, you know.
Hey.
Hey.
Anyway, that was my next question because I was going to ask, hey, Would you?
No, I don't want to be a victim
the
of a
money.
revelation.
So, as finally conclude, Caspian Marvin,
Yeah.
we would love to give you platform to talk about a few projects you've worked on, where people can find you, your handles, the platforms where they can stream your music, and sort of.
Yeah. Most of the people know me. I feel they know me according to the way I've been welcomed when it comes to shows. I'm the one who wrote and sang that song of Tattoo. With Victor Rose. Nali manyi bino tebirikoma. Twasuubiza bingi olw'okuba twali basanyufu nali manyi bino tebiribula. That song, I wrote it, but I was still at campus by then, and I produced it with my producer. Yeah. Then some other songs, Power Ranger and stuff. So when you want to get my music or get me as a person, I have social handles, and I'm so active when it comes to my social handles. I reply to everyone.
You're not a show off.
No. Yeah, I respect my fans a lot because I've been brought to this stage because of my fans. So I respect them. Yeah. So I'm at Caspian Marvin everywhere. X, Snap, no. Don't come to my Snapchat, please. My girlfriend is too harsh. Don't come to my Snapchat.
Okay.
Ladies, did you hear that? Do not come to his
She can
Snapchat.
beat her soul. So you can get me on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, or streaming platforms for music at Caspian Marvin Istanbul. You're going to like me, I promise. Yeah, it has been a good time with you guys. We've talked a lot about youth empowerment, about talent, and maybe social life. Yeah, it has been a good argument. Like in so it's a way it has sparked my brain.
It has tasked your brain maybe to
A
think.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because
I'm impressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me, guys.
as you've heard from him, it has been Derek
Faith.
and this has been the Bridge Talk Show where stories meet. We've been with Caspian Marvin from Retro Records, as you've heard from him. We'll be having more of this because the bridge is to empower the youth, and we don't empower the youth only in law, academics, and what, but we also have the musicians, because as well as we have the youth that are aspiring lawyers, doctors, and what, we also have youth that are aspiring to be musicians. So we'll often have the entertainers here to explain how their experience is so far in the music industry, and basically this will be the youth.
Something I want to pass out to a youth who wants to join a music industry. There has been a story that most of these artists are not educated. Let me tell you this. You're going to get a lot of opportunities when it comes to the industry, especially when you're educated. So I urge you, bro, wherever you are, first finish studies. Then you come to music when you're settled. Please, I urge you. Finish studies, come to music, argue with people, argue with facts, because you're going to be brought to a panel where you have to bring out your thoughts about very, very important things of national importance. But you won't have anything to say about. So
Yeah.
I urge you, bro, go and study. Finish, come and we argue with people. People think we are bad people, but we ain't, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. This has been the Bridge Talk Show where stories meet. Do not forget to subscribe, to follow, like, and comment on all our social media platforms. That's TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. The Bridge where stories meet.